Welcome, survivors, to Survival Jobs, the podcast. We are your hostess with the mostesses. I'm Jason A. Coombs, and this is my amazing co-host right over here, Sammy Toots. And we are here on BroadwayWorld and on Podbean and on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts and iHeartRadio and everywhere you listen to podcasts. How cool is that, Samantha?
Jason, that was a really good intro. Thank you for the detailed description.
I want to spice it up a little bit.
Wow, I loved it. Look at both of us in our gloomy grays. I feel like we're both a little gloomy today.
It is a little gloomy today. It's a little cold today, so I had to wrap up in my little shawl. For those who have the video, that's exclusively on BroadwayWorld.
Thank you. Jason, you're killing it with the details today. I love it.
Gotta give the deets, right?
So, Jason, tell me your temperature check. I know you're doing something really cool this week. Also, if you want to share.
Yeah, my temperature check. My temperature check is kind of like how I feel today. It's like it's like cozy. You know, it's like those days. I'm gonna compare it to weather, right? When you're like at home and it's like a little bit gloomy outside and it's like a little bit chilly, but you just want to like wrap up in a blanket or a prayer shawl or like whatever you want to use. And you're feeling cozy and cute, a little lethargic probably, but you know, you're living it. You're living whatever it is that you're living, and you're in the moment and you're taking it beat by beat. That's how I'm feeling. Just taking it beat by beat.
I love that. Beat by beat. That's a good motto.
I guess, yeah.
What are you doing this week, Jay?
So I am at an artist residency in Greenwich, Connecticut called Foundation House. And I applied back in the early days of the pandemic when this podcast first started, but then I got COVID and I couldn't go. But fast forward 2 years later, you remember that?
Yes, I didn't put it together that was the same thing.
Yeah. So I'm finally here after 2 years. And there's 7 of us artists. There's 3 writers. There is 2 visual artists. There's 1 musician, and then there's another filmmaker here as well. And we're all here for 10 days, getting to work on projects that we proposed independently. But it's been really cool because, you know, we're all been kind of like talking and connecting, and we have dinner together every night, and we've been doing like movie nights, and you know, some of them I haven't been doing it, the yoga like every afternoon because I've just been so busy. But it's been a really cool experience, and I'm so grateful for the opportunity. You know, I think we talked about this, and I'll say it again, that we talked about wanting to live the artist life, you know, once the pandemic happened, and not going back to like the way things were before. So this is just another step in that, and I'm grateful for it.
That sounds amazing. I'm so happy for you and so proud of you. And they're doing construction in my building, so please forgive like whatever drilling you're hearing right now.
I think you would get a lot out of it, Samantha, if you want to apply.
Oh, maybe I will.
Yeah, I mean, you get 10 days and like, you know, they feed you, they give you a modest stipend while you're here, and you get to meet really cool people. Like one of the women here, excuse me, is you know, she's a writer, she's a comedy writer, she's done stuff for UCB and whatnot. So we've been connecting, and it's just a really cool, like a good way to network organically, you know?
That sounds amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll have to send me over the application.
I will. And what's your temperature check?
I'm feeling a little overwhelmed this week. You know, we were chatting a bit before we hit the record button, but I just feel like every week is like crazy between all of the things. You know, I know it's silly to be like social life is overwhelming, but it is sometimes. And, you know, my big like goal this year is to say no to things. Like it's okay that I am not attending every birthday and every social gathering, but that's hard for me because I am a bit of a social butterfly. I do take after my mother, who listens to everything. Shout out to Dawn. And also big shout out and congratulations to my mom, who just retired after so many years of being a florist. So that's fun.
Congrats, Dawn.
Congrats, Dawnie. That's just a little sidebar. So I don't know. I'm just feeling overwhelmed. My survival job is overwhelming me. Yeah. And I'm overwhelmed about my move. My temperature check is overwhelmed.
Can I share something with you?
Of
I was
course.
telling you I was trying to get this quote, and I finally got it. So, one of the fellow artists here, her name is Tranview. She's amazing. She's a visual artist and an organizer, and all the good things. We were having a discussion the other night about being kind of first generation um, immigrants to this country. Like our parents were immigrants and whatnot, and just like the pressure of that is of being an artist. And she shared with me about how sometimes it's okay to be selfish, right? But don't call it selfish, call it self-full. And then she shared a quote by Angela Davis, because also Black History Month, happy Black History Month. And the quote was, self-preservation is an act of resistance. So like, I think it kind of ties into how you're feeling, right? Like, it's okay to say no. It's okay to like not do it all. And it's okay to be self-full for yourself, for your own preservation, Samantha. So take that in, and hopefully that resonates something in you.
Thank you. I love you so
Of
much.
course. I love you so
Also,
much.
happy belated birthday.
Thank you. I
Did
know.
you have a
So
good birthday?
I did. Thank you so much. Yeah, it was a weird birthday because my birthday was the day when that video of Tyree Nichols came out, which was heavy. It was very heavy, and I kept seeing this meme about Black men deserve to grow old, and I was like thinking on my birthday about that a lot because I'm someone who like has this, I don't say like a rational fear of getting old, but I just don't feel as accomplished as I should be at this age. So I kind of have this like mentality thing about getting older, which I'm trying to get over. I'm trying to work through. But just putting things in perspective, seeing that quote and what was going on in the news with the murder of another Black man, it just really resonated with me today on that day, and I've been really just really trying to be grateful for every day and for every birthday and every hard thing, every challenge, because it's just a tough time in general. And yeah, I wasn't think it was gonna affect me so much, but I don't know. I'm just grateful to be alive because so many people who look like me don't get that chance. So
Oh
that's how I
man, I
feel.
love you, Jason.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's really hard to, be an artist and grow older and put that pressure on yourself. And you just said, you put a lot of pressure on yourself that you haven't accomplished as much as you think you should have. But you are so successful and you work so hard. And I always want to
Thank
remind
you.
you of that and how grateful I am for you
Thank
all of
you.
the time and all of your work and all of the things you do.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you for being so open with your feelings also.
Yeah.
I think it's
I was
important. I feel like we have a great following of listeners, and something I love about you and us is that we are just always 100% real.
mhm. I
I
think
love
you
you.
have to be sometimes, I mean, life is hard and we can't ignore it, but I was just saying this year I want to be a little more stress free. I want to like enjoy life because it's so short, it's so precious, and that's just something I'm trying to take with me. And how can I find joy, a little bit of joy every day, no matter what the circumstances may be. So
So everybody listen to that and let's find joy every day, no matter
yeah,
the circumstances. I love
yeah,
you, Jason.
I love you too. Should we talk about our boy?
Let's make a transition.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're so excited, you guys, for this episode because it's coming out right in time for the 1 year anniversary of MJ the Musical.
Hmm.
And we got to chat with the amazing Apollo Levine, who plays Joe Jackson
Hmm.
in MJ the Musical. And he was great, and he told us a lot of great stories. And Jason, I think you had said something in the interview like, wow, I love how bold you are. Like, he just was like speaking the truth and like
Hmm.
telling us, everything, all of his feelings and keeping it real. So this was a
Yes.
really fun one. And we're just so excited that it's coming out, right in time for the 1 year anniversary.
Yeah.
It's fun when those things happen.
When those things line up, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, he's fantastic. I think like we have a new best friend. Well, at least I want to be his best friend, which happens a lot on this podcast. Where it's like everyone's so inspiring and so It's their energy. It's so great. It's like you want to be around that. But do you want to share his bio?
Yeah, I would love to. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Apollo Levine hails from Louisiana. Some of his theater credits include Sister Act, Dreamgirls, Ragtime, and originating the role of Chinese superhero in The Monkey King in Beijing, China. Some of his television credits include Let's Stay Together, Criminal Minds, and The Catch. Apollo is so excited to be making his Broadway debut with MJ the Musical.
Yes. And I love the story about how he ended up on Broadway because it was a very unexpected for him. It's a great
Correct.
one, y'all. It's a
Correct.
great one.
It is. Enjoy and go see MJ and support live theater, people.
Yes. And happy Black History Month.
Happy Black History Month. I love you, Jason Coombs.
Love you too. Thank you.
Enjoy the episode, y'all.
Awesome. Welcome to Survival Jobs, the podcast, Apollo. We're so happy to have you today. Thank you for making time for us.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. I was just saying before we start, I love your Marvin behind you, the inspiration. He's in the room with us.
Yeah, Marvin is always with me.
I love that so much. Samantha, you're back. Okay.
Yeah, sorry. We're so happy to have you, Apollo, especially coming up with the 1-year anniversary of MJ the Musical.
It's been crazy. I can't believe that we've actually been on the stage for a year, going into our second year.
Wow, I know, and we're so honored to have you as that anniversary is coming up. And we'll definitely talk more about that a little bit later. Okay. But why we are all here to talk about survival jobs. So can you tell us what you think defines, a survival job?
Anything that allows you to pay the bills. We do a lot of auditioning and a lot of gigging, and in between you do just about anything: dog walking, babysitting, bartending. No, that's like babysitting to bartending.
Yeah.
After you watch the kids, then you need a drink.
Yeah, exactly. Take the dog out, watch the kids, to get a drink.
Right. That you can pay the bills and actually kind of put monetarily back into your craft. So yeah,
that's a great answer. There's no right or wrong. We just always like to just get different perspectives.
Yeah, I feel like everybody answers that question and has so differently and has their own thoughts about, we've all done a survival job. So I feel like it means something different to so many people. So thank you.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite that you've had in your past?
I used to work at
is the favorite survival job real?
There was one. I used to work at a candy shop, and when I lived in Atlanta,
what?
Yeah, and it got to the point where we were about to try to shoot a reality show around the candy shop because it was a singing candy shop. We made fudge live. There, it's in Atlantic Station. If you go to Atlantic Station, there's a place called Killwinds down there, and the manager or the guy that owned it made this whole thing where like every hour on the hour, like especially on like a Saturday, Sunday, we made like a candy choir. And so we would make all the songs around like the fudge and the candy in the shop, but it would be like to My Girl. Like we would change like older songs or whatever and make them about the fudge. So we would do like a 15-minute set. People would come in, and then we would just like, after they get done, we would like try to sell as much fudge and candy as we could. That has to be probably one of the best, most fun survival jobs I've had.
It's like the Ellen Stardust diner of candy stores.
Yeah, sounds like it. Yeah.
Do you remember?
Do you remember any of the songs? I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Oh my gosh. No, I don't actually. I do remember. Like I remember changing My Girl each day through my window. I remember changing that. I just don't remember how we changed it to fudge, but it was fudge branded. Like
It was, yeah. I'm sure it was a bop.
yeah, yeah. And it was like it was funny because there were like 15 of us in the shop. And all of a sudden people would be like, well, where are they going? We would go around the fudge station and like give this whole 15 minutes performance.
Oh my gosh. And it's still open? I want to go.
Yeah. Now they don't do the singing like that anymore, but the
Oh,
shop
okay.
is there. Every time I go to the shop, it gets bigger and bigger. I'm like, what other
Wow.
kind of candy can you put into this?
That's so fun. Oh, thank you for sharing that. We've never had a candy singer worker as a survival job before.
Yeah, that's the
I
first.
never thought that would be a thing either. So
Yeah.
Well, how fun. Isn't it nice when you can incorporate your, passions as well into your survival job?
yeah, it came out a good time because I moved to Atlanta to be a songwriter. So to sing in a candy choir, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh my
do you
gosh.
have a survival job that was like not as fun? Maybe like a shocking worst survival job story?
Oh, I did. This is actually when I moved back to New York this time. I ended up working for like a uh Verizon internet kind of company, but we have to go door to door. Yeah, I lasted like through about 5 doors and I did not go back to that job.
I'm dead.
Like I'm good. I'll keep my Spectrum at the house and I'll go about my business.
So you were selling like internet? Like
Selling
the
like
Verizon
getting people
version?
to switch from one service to the next, but it wasn't like
Yeah, that's
over the
tough.
phone. It was literally like me out in Queens in neighborhoods that I don't know. Like I was like, I'm all right on this. I'm good. So it lasted probably for the 7 hours of training, and then they didn't see me again.
I love the specificity of 5 doors.
Yeah, 5 doors. I lasted through about 5, and it started raining that day, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm good. Not out here in my
Oh
in my dress
no.
shoes and
Nope. Hard no.
Ooh, I would have just went to like a coffee shop and sat there and they throw the pamphlets away. Like, oh yeah, I went to
I
like
actually did
40
go to a
houses.
coffee shop, and I just waited for the rain so I could get back on the train and come home, back up to Harlem. I was like, yeah, I'm good on this.
I'm good. Oh my gosh. Okay. I always feel like some of our listeners who aren't in the Broadway world may not know what it's like to audition for a Broadway show. So would you mind sharing your experience from like when you got the audition to were there callbacks, or would you mind just sharing a little bit about that?
So here's the deal.
Okay.
I used to live in New York. I moved here in 2014, and by 2016, I had a like all in, like I could care less about New York anymore. I'm done. Screw New York. I stood in the middle of Times Square, and I always say that it was one of the craziest moments because I was like, F you, New York. But I was like, people thought I was probably crazy. But then I remembered the city that I lived in, and like people were probably like, oh,
It's like a normal Tuesday.
it's just a Tuesday. But yeah, but I remember like that was on a Thursday. I had just auditioned for a show, and I will not name that show. And it was my 8th time auditioning. And I thought this is gonna be my Broadway show, like that to make my Broadway debut in because it's so up my alley. 8 times I had got called into that show. And it didn't happen. And I was like, I'm done. I'm moving out to LA. I called my best friend. I was like, today is Thursday. My boxes will be on your step on Wednesday, and I will see you next Thursday. And that's what happened.
Wow.
And I get out to LA. Speaking of survival jobs, I ended up becoming a personal trainer and bartending at the same time. Something about bartending.
It's that money, man.
Yeah. And so I did that. I actually stopped like kind of acting and singing for about 2 years. I just felt like the universe was telling me, chill out. You've been doing it a while. You're frustrated and everything else. So just chill out. And one morning I woke up and I was like, hey, I think this is it. And within a week, I had booked Dreamgirls out in LA. And from there, I ended up picking up a manager, and I told her, I was like, hey, I know you saw me in the show. I do not want to do another theater show. I've done New York. I've always wanted to play Curtis in Dreamgirls, so here it is. That was the only reason I took this job.
Yes.
I just want to focus on TV and film. The first thing she sends me in for is this show that's called like Don't Stop Till You Get Enough, and it's some Michael Jackson. I'm like, this is stupid. Like, this is not a real thing. Even if they're coming out here to audition, I have a million friends in New York that, please. So I go in and I audition for the casting director, and she says, "Hey, can you go back outside? I want you to wait." And I go back outside. I'm like, "What does she want?" She hands me all these sides. She was like, Can you come back tomorrow? The whole creative team will be here and learn all the rest of these sides." I'm like, "Woman, I have a show tonight." I remember
Oh my
this
gosh.
attitude, because I was like, like,
Attitude.
I have a show tonight. She was like, "Well," I was like, "I'll come back tomorrow."
The eye roll.
It was so bad. The next day I go in, I sing the stuff that they want me to sing and do the sides, and all the stuff that they asked me to do. They were like, they just wanted to see what I did the day before. So all the rest of the stuff, by the time I got done, they were like, "Oh, that doesn't matter." But then they sent me back out and they were like, "We're gonna send you with the dance captain to learn the." I was like, "Y'all didn't tell me how to dance. I am in a flannel
Oh
shirt
my gosh.
with club jeans on. You know, club jeans, they're too tight, really."
Right, yeah, yeah.
And I had like Chelsea boots on. I'm like, with no other change of clothes. So I am in there going for broke, sweating buckets. And then they say, "Okay, cool." 2 days before I'm supposed to go home to see my parents for Christmas, I get this call to say, "Hey, everything that you didn't do in the audition room, can you put that on tape?"
Wow.
And I'm like, okay.
Another eye roll.
I go over my friend's house that lives closest to LAX, because I'm supposed to get on like a 5:45 flight in the morning. We stay up to like 2 o'clock. We put everything on tape. I send it. I edit it down when I'm on my way to the airport. And I remember sending this message saying, here's what they asked for. I hope they enjoy it, because this is the worst effing audition I've ever done.
Oh my gosh, you're so bold.
That is what you typed in the email?
To my manager, yes. And then
Oh my gosh.
that was like a day before Christmas. I come back to LA in the new year, and like 4 or 5 days after the new year, I get this phone call from my manager saying, "Hey, they're flying you out for the workshops." I'm like, "What?" What in the world?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So it was almost like, even though I
It was meant to be, though.
right, though I was done with the whole
Yeah.
Broadway thing, it was not done with me.
Broadway was not done with you. I feel like we hear these stories all of the time of like, that was my worst audition ever. I was never going to book it. And then it's like, you booked it and you're fierce and you're doing the thing.
And here we are. Like, yeah.
Here we are. So that was a crazy audition process. So can you tell us a little bit about what the experience has been like now, coming upon a year of this musical running? And it's such a popular show to be in. So what's that whole experience sort of felt like this year, from being like done with Broadway to being in a hit?
Yeah,
400 shows, you were telling me. 400 shows later.
400 shows. So yeah, we were talking earlier about the other day was our 400th show. I've never been a part of anything like, not a show or a gig that you do 400 shows. But it comes, so like, you look up in this kind of environment because everything happens so quick. So a year doesn't even feel like a year, but I will say it has been such a blessing. One, job security. Thank you, Lord.
Yes.
But two, I have never worked, and I've been around a lot of casts, and casts are great. Like, I don't think I've ever had a cast where it's like we're all falling out and whatever. I've had pretty good successes as far as being around casts that you really, really enjoy or whatever. But this, by far, like, the MJ fam is my family. It is, when I say we ride together, getting to walk into that building every day. And this is cast, crew, wardrobe, sound, like it is a family up in there. And to be able to do this 8 shows a week, you kind of need it. Because sometimes you get burnt out, and the moment that you get burnt out, somebody else is like, "Hey," and you're like, "Okay, if they're excited, I could do this again too today." the audiences have been amazing to meet people and know, like, I mean, you walk outside to sign a playbill and they're like, yo, I came from Brazil, I came from Hungary, I'm here from Canada, I just came in for this show. People that have been back to the show 30, 40, 50 times. And I'm like, okay, like, but it is a joy to get to know some of the people, like we call them, the super fans of the show. But it is, this year has been unmatched being in this show. Yeah. And
I love
I'm so grateful that, from the eye rolls to the casting to now that I've had the journey that I've gotten to experience this past year and some change.
Amazing.
Congratulations.
Thank
For
you.
sure. Wow. I love that story so much. And I guess, so you're playing, I just want to make sure I got it, Rob, and you're playing Joe Jackson in the show, right?
So yeah.
Oh, so go ahead.
I was about to say, this has been the cool part, that when I when I came into this show, I was originating the Quincy Jones Tito Jackson role.
Oh.
And then after a year, there was some, movement in the cast. So I got to, we'll say, do a little upgrade and moved into the Joe Jackson Rob role. So it's been great to play two different roles in what is now about to be 2 years. So.
For sure. So what's it been like to play a character who's, we all know he's a little controversial, Mr. Joe Jackson, and like to play a real life person? And has that been like a different approach as an actor from creating like an original character who's not like a real person?
It is. The one thing about like bio musicals or all of that is like, you really kind of want to nail the people, like, Miles and Tavon, they're playing Michael every night, or whomever's on stage, they're playing Michael, and so you want people to come and know that there's the Michael is on stage, even though we know Michael is no longer with us. But the same as far as the rest of the characters, the Berry Gordys, the Joe Jacksons, any of the brothers, you want to do them justice. So you don't want to just get up there and not do the job. But I will say, the one thing about our creative team, which I loved about this, is that they allowed us and really, really wanted us to find the essence of these people and then bring ourselves to the stage. So it's not an impersonation, but you're giving acknowledgement of like who this person is. Now give your take on that,
Right.
Which allows people to be, they know that we're none of these people, but it allows them to enjoy the story even more, because they're like, oh, well, that pretty much tracks, even though I'm not him.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. The other thing is, it's kind of cool because playing, particularly in this role, I switch back and forth like in a matter of a second sometimes, like from Joe back to the choreographer Rob. So it's really, really cool, the acting side of it, to have these moments to go back and forth, jump back and forth from character to character. And it's wild how the creative team has put it together. A switch of a light cue, a switch of a jacket, like on stage, everything is happening right there in front of your face. So it's been so cool.
That sounds so fun. What do you think if people haven't seen the show or like are on the fence, like why do you think they should come on and see it? I know it's a very silly question because it's,
I'm gonna say it will probably be the best musical theater experience. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Ooh, you are so bold. I love you.
I know. No,
gotta get those people in the seats,
I don't like no, I have actually been able to sit out and watch the show. I've done it twice. I can't believe that what we're doing on that stage 8 shows a week, and this has nothing to do with like just what I do. The dancers, the singers, the band, the lighting, the sound, you feel like you are in a stadium with our sound system. Like, it is crazy. It's bananas. I just think it's like they got all these superheroes and put them together in one building to make this magical thing. And I'm so proud of it. And so because I'm that proud of it, I'm like, no, run, get your ticket, come, please. Like, you won't be disappointed.
I love that.
Jason, we got to get our ticket, Jason.
I know.
Not to say, but we still have not seen it.
Well, come
You sold me.
Come on over. The Neil Simon is waiting.
Waiting for survival jobs.
Amazing.
So you're in this. Thank you for sharing everything about MJ. So everyone listening, run and go see this. We're at the year anniversary. Get your tickets. Go see Apollo. Kill it. Jason and I will do the same. So just to jump a little bit more about you as an artist, do you have a dream? You're doing an amazing production right now, but aside from this, do you have a dream role, show, or collaboration that would be like the end all be all?
So I will say that there's 2 dream roles. One I've already gotten to play, but it's you know, I did it kind of under low key, and that was Curtis and Dreamgirls. It was at a smaller theater, even though that it was an amazing production, smaller theater. It was just because I wanted to play it. So I would love to play that on a bigger scale. Also, Cole House from Ragtime.
Oh, my favorite show. Yes.
Yeah. It was my first equity show in North Carolina, when I started in this whole Broadway world. And Norm Lewis was my co-house, and I think that set a very, very big bar for me about what leading men were, how you approach not just the stage, but even off stage, and how you handle the cast and how you show up. Like, I don't know. So that role would mean so much to me. But because of this guy behind me, Marvin Gaye, that is something that I would love to take on, the Marvin Gaye story. So we'll see.
Like, would you want to do like a film version? I don't think has there been a film version? And his life story is insane and great, and he's a giant.
He really is, and I don't think that there's been a either or. I know he's been a part of musical, like Motown stuff, all that kind of he's been a part of things, but I don't think there's actually been his story, and I would love to take that role on. Because I think Marvin Gaye is just a phenomenal artist, and so much to him.
I love that. We're gonna manifest that for you.
Yes, come on.
Put it out there.
We manifest a lot on this show. We see things and then they happen. It's crazy. So
okay,
here first, guys.
I love that. And before I guess we're coming close to the close. I feel like this is such a quick one today. Wow, I can't believe that. I know, right? I want to sit with you for like an hour.
Well, let's go.
Yeah. I was gonna say, do you have something that's feeding your soul artistically? Like maybe a movie you've watched recently, or a TV show, or podcast, or book you've read recently?
You know what? I have been reading Billy Porter's book. So that's reading wise, that's what I've been into. But honestly, every day I walk into the theater, or at some point in time before I leave the house, I have put on Lizzo's concert on HBO Max. And
I love Lizzo.
That, like, I don't know. She, as an artist, she does it for me. Like,
yep.
There's just this it thing about her that I honestly love, and I can listen to the album, but now that they put the concert out there, I'm like, that thing stays on play. Like, even if I'm not paying attention, like it's on. When she plays in my dressing room, like that. she's that it person for me right now.
There's something about her that's just so genuine. Like, you just feel that because a lot of people speak about empowerment, but like from her, it just feels like she's coming from this honest place, and she just makes you feel good about yourself. And that's like, it's still needed in these days, in these times.
Her concert when she had Watch Out for the Big Girls, when the reality show, everything, like, and I used to use one of my survival jobs also, I used to teach dance and dance fitness classes. she was heavy in my rotation on my playlist, and I didn't even realize it until like this last album. I was like, oh, I've been bumping the Lizzo like for a minute. Like,
yeah. Let me tell you, Lizzo got me through like a breakup, depressed days, happy days. Like I'm there with you.
Yeah.
We stand Lizzo.
We do.
Yeah,
we do.
I'm here for her.
Yeah. I love that. Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. I always like to get a little glimpse of, the person behind the role that they're doing, or the art that they're doing, and see what's inspiring them as well. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Jay, you want to talk about the game? It came from your brain.
Yeah, so we're gonna do we're gonna end with a fun little trivia game. Very low stakes. But we're gonna do, because of the show that you're in, and the person that you are, the world that you're creating with MJ, we want to follow up with some 80s pop star trivia, because he's such an icon of the 80s.
Oh God. Okay.
I think
it just got real hot up in here.
Yeah. There is some multiple choice, and there's some true or false, so I think you'll be okay. And as Samantha always says, we'll give you some lifelines if you need it.
We tend to cheat and help our guests out.
Okay, great, good.
It's just fun. Yeah. We just love to have fun.
Okay. Do you want to take the first one?
Sure. Okay. Are you ready?
Sure.
Sure. Eye roll.
Right.
Insert the eye roll. Okay. Which of the following Madonna hits was her first Billboard #1 single? A, Holiday. B, Like a Virgin. C, Like a Prayer. D, Express Yourself.
I'm going to say Like a Virgin.
Oh, ding, ding, ding.
Oh, yay!
Starting off hot. Starting off strong.
Yeah, Holiday was her first single, her first hit single, and then Like a Virgin was her first #1.
Okay.
Yeah, look at you. Okay. True or false? Prince not only starred in this iconic 1984 movie Purple Rain, but also directed it.
Oh God. I'm gonna say false because I'm looking at you. Okay, great.
Correct. It was false. Ding, ding, ding.
2 for 2. Okay, number 3. This 80s icon duetted with the Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin, on the number one hit single, I Knew You Were Waiting for Me. Yes, notes.
Like I can hear it in my head, and I can see it, and I'm like, what is his name?
He has 2 first names. That's our give you a little hint. And maybe MJ might help you out if you think about MJ's name.
You said MJ's name. Oh gosh.
You know that little monkey curious someone?
George Michael.
Ding, ding, ding. You got it. 3 for 3.
I said curious someone.
I literally could see it in my head. It was like, okay.
Okay, here's another true or false. True or false, Whitney Houston holds the record for 7 consecutive #1 singles, beating both Elvis and the Beatles.
Just because I love Whitney, I'm just going to say true.
True.
Okay, great.
She's over, I don't know if you can tell, she's over my shoulder, like.
Okay. I was like,
good job.
Yeah, it's like she's Whitney, so I'm just going
to say true.
Yeah.
Even if it wasn't, it's gonna be true.
We've already gotten 100%, so we're just gonna throw in this little bonus just for fun, but you killed it.
Okay.
Okay, bonus. What monster 80s album is the biggest selling album of all time?
Ding, ding, ding. Yeah.
Hey, if I didn't know that, I'm not going to work today.
Congrats.
Thank you.
You never needed to even eye roll the game. It was perfect.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
your prize is we're gonna have to force you to have dinner with us at Glass House Tavern when next time
Our
you have a
favorite
free day.
place in the world.
Listen, I'm here for that.
Yeah.
I'm here for that.
Yeah, we keep it light.
We keep it so
love it.
light. Well,
Thank
thank
you
you
s-
so much.
Thank
Jason.
you.
Thanks. Yeah, it was such an honor. It's like so great to talk to you, and like Bailey's always so great at giving us these wonderful people like you who share their stories with us,
Yes.
and it's so inspiring to hear your story about how you almost turned it down. Like, you know, you were done with musical theater, you're done with Broadway, and now look
And
at
now
you
here you are at a
on
year.
year 2. Yeah, it's
Here we
incredible.
are.
So congratulations on all your success. We're gonna keep
Thank you.
manifesting this Marvin Gaye biopic for you.
Yeah.
But before we go, can you just
Okay.
tell people where to find you on social media, new fans, so they can support you?
Usually I rock out on Instagram at only Apollo Levine. I believe that is my TikTok also, but that one is not
TikTok's
as
hard.
Yeah, TikTok's a little bit hard with our schedule. And then Facebook, Apollo Levine. But Instagram is usually where I rock out at.
I feel like Instagram
Amazing.
is like everybody's new website and like email. That's where you go.
Yeah, you know, a picture or a reel is worth 1,000 words. So
And if
And
you're
Sam-
tuning in, sorry, Jay, go ahead.
I was gonna say, if you want to share, because I always mess it up, where to follow us, because I'm
You
the worst at
really
social
don't
media.
mess it up. I think you really perfected it the past few episodes. But if you're tuning into us for the first time because you are an Apollo fan, check us out on Twitter and Instagram at Survival Jobs Pod, on Facebook at Survival Jobs Hub Podcast. Shoot us an email at survivaljobspod@gmail.com. Check me out at Sammy Toots, and you can follow my boy Jason at Jason A. Coombs. Thank you, Apollo. You are so wonderful, and this
Thank
was
you
such
so
a wonderful
much.
conversation. Thank you. We
Thank
can't
you.
meet. Am I okay? We can't meet you in real life.
I can't wait to
Love
meet y'all.
Bye.
We're silly. We're silly.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.